Not many Australians would know that nestled on the remote northwest coast of the country is one of the most significant collections of dinosaur footprints in the world. Until now, the vast tracks have been poorly documented, but that's changing with a research project figuring out movements of the enormous dinosaurs up and down the Kimberley coast. It's raising some tricky issues though, not least of which is that revealing the exact location of the dinosaur footprints could put them at risk. Erin Park reports.
They may look like a band of outback cleaners, but Professor Steve Salisbury and his team are on a high-tech mission. They've travelled to a remote beach 50 kilometres north of Broome to document a prehistoric legacy.
So let's see how this one's going, Phil. So that whole platform behind us is covered in dinosaur tracks.
The tracks were left about 130 million years ago, when the heavy steps of more than 20 different types of dinosaur compressed the muddy sand and were preserved in sandstone. Among them, Australia's only known record of stegosaurs. From the spacing of the tracks, it's thought some of the dinosaurs were up to 30 metres long.
When you're on the ground, you just get overwhelmed with all the tracks. You can't really see what's going on. You can't easily match them up. So you get the drone up above it, it's much, much clearer what's going on. So that's how we start to map these track sites. And once that's done, then you can go back on the ground and truth it all and make sense of it. That's enough, Linda. Maybe too far.
Watching on is Gallara Baloo man Philip Rowe.
That's a good spot.
It's great to work with these guys. I've learned a lot from them and they've learned a lot from me.
He's the senior lawman for this area and holds the Dreamtime stories for how the footprints were made.
There's stories like that in Jadja, where the Morella, the man, emu man, you can see where the story connected to him, where his feathers and things has laid and his tracks are.
Together, over 5 years, they've trekked up and down 100 kilometres of coast, recording one of the world's oldest and most diverse sets of dinosaur prints.
All this platform, all the big depressions and things, it's all dinosaur action.
The team's drawn on technology never before used in paleontology to record the tracks in 3D.
We've developed this device, which is called Zebedee. It's a laser scanning system, and it's handheld and mobile, which means you can just hold it in your hand, walk around the site that you wish to scan, and it, using a laser, is able to capture measurements of the environment that we then put together into a three-dimensional model of the site.
Far from the red cliffs of the Kimberley at the University of Queensland, this is the end result.
Sauropods up there. Oh, they're about here.
Out there, that's right.
A 3D record of the footprints preserved for posterity.
I think that third one does extend a little bit further.
So now we can start to map each of the individual trackways and start to get information about how big that dinosaur was, how fast it was moving. And this is the only window we get on Australia's dinosaurs from about 130 million years ago. Just their tracks, there's no bones, nothing. So any bit of information we can get out of these is really important for understanding what sort of dinosaurs we had back there.
The maps have revealed 70 separate trackways. There are thousands of footprints, on a scale not even Professor Salisbury was expecting.
So there's nowhere else in the world that has got as many different types of dinosaur tracks as the Kimberley area. I mean, that's huge.
It's pioneering science, but the dilemma remains, what should be done with the maps?
So this is beautifully where the Broome sandstone rock comes, is very obviously there on the coast.
Jan Lewis is among a group of passionate locals who formed the Dinosaur Coast Management Group. They're campaigning to protect the fossils.
Any additional movement of sand caused by development, for example by a marina, could destroy them forever. And then of course there's the potential for idiots to come and try and steal them and remove them. There was a case earlier this year where 7, 8, 9 drunken backpackers from overseas were seen heading down the beach at dusk with a spade, saying they were going to dig them up.
In the mid-90s, the theft of a footprint made national headlines.
The rare footprint was removed from rock at Crab Creek near Broome with an angle grinder.
Gallaraballoo man Philip Rowe remembers the day his family realised that a footprint was missing.
When I went down and I seen Toyota truck, I said, what's this? And there was a long cord that runs, electrical cord, and you can see where they've cut the tracks.
The stolen footprint was retrieved and returned to its place on the beach. But it led many locals to become secretive about their locations. Now, with the trackways fully mapped, that might all be about to change.
You'll probably have thousands more tourists coming to Broome to look at these dinosaur tracks because it's world-renowned. And we'll be behind the 8 ball.
Tour guide Bart Pigram is a Yarroo man who says protection plans are urgently needed as interest grows in WA's Dinosaur Coast.
It's a high risk, and this is where I think we need to be proactive and get some collaborative work done, either monitoring these areas or something bad will happen, whether it's an injury at one of the locations or someone taking and stealing the tracks, and we're left going, wow, we've just lost 130 million years, an 130 million year old archaeological artefact.
So there's nowhere else in the world you can walk out on a beach and, you know, literally walk with dinosaurs.
It's part of the history of our planet. These amazingly large, huge, diverse creatures walked and lived here. And for people who are interested in that sort of thing, you know, this is just a fascinating journey.